Dear learners, now we are reaching to the 10th week of our course, The Art and Science of Marketing from Basics to Breakthrough. I, Dr. Asutosh Mohan, Associate Professor at Institute of Management Studies, Banaras Hindu University, would like to introduce the Week 10, Module 10, that is basically related with the last element of marketing mix, and that element is the fourth P of marketing mix, termed as promotion. So, we are going to understand the details related with this last element of marketing mix, and this week 10 module 10 is basically coined as devising the integrated marketing communication, that is IMC strategies. This week is again divided into 5 lectures, and the first lecture we will discuss the detailings, or we will discuss the basics related with integrated marketing communication. So, the title of lecture 1 is Understanding IMC and its importance. This is going to start with session objective. Now, what is going to be, or what are going to be the session objectives? So, first session objective related with lecture 1, we try to define IMC and its core component. We also try to understand the benefits of integrating across the different communication tool. So, what are going to be the benefit of integrating the tools of IMC so as to make this marketing communication more effective? Let us start our learning journey with a story, a real world story. This story is related with Zomato's witty communication strategy. Every one of us is familiar with Zomato, and whenever we discuss certain elements related with food item, might be some of you feel hungry, need for those particular ordering, but just try to understand. Zomato, one of very leading brand in terms of online food aggregator, they used humorous in-app push notifications. They regionalized the Instagram post, and they made lots of food memes or memes, the right word to pronounce, and billboard ads with the same quirky tone. They opted for different media vehicles to communicate with their target audience. What was the result? Highly shareable brand voice, a very unified kind of brand recall, because from every platform their message tone was same, their basic objective of communication remains the same, and they try to keep on reminding the audience about their presence. So, what is the learning? Consistent tone and timely content elevate IMC impact. Consistent tone across different channel and the timely content. When you have to hit the audience so that the impact of that hit is going to be maximum. That is what every marketer need to understand, the timing, the integration, and that is why we are calling it at integrated marketing communication rather than simply calling it the marketing promotion strategy. So, what we mean by integrated marketing communication, what we understand by integrated marketing communication. Integrated marketing communication defined in a very practical manner, which simply say aligning the brand's message across every marketing channel or touch point. What does it mean? It means whatever the different possible options through which the consumer, the target customer, is having possibility of interaction with the organization. Everywhere the same kind of communication, not to say same kind of communication, but the same philosophy related with the communication need to reflect. So, whether the organization is using the billboards, whether the organization is using the self promotion, whether the organization is targeting with any other electronic media channel, whether indoor or outdoor, all those objectives of communication, the essence of communication need to remain same. And if you are making the same essence in all type of communication, then the possibility to have more impact on the mind of consumer will be high. And that is why when we talk about the importance of integrated marketing communication, there are 4 specific mechanisms or 4 specific ideas which actually reflect to denote the importance of integrated marketing communication. The first idea, it builds trust and brand consistency because there is no confusion, a unified message is conveyed. It enhances the campaign effectiveness. The repeated exposure may have higher chances of recall and recognition. It optimizes the budget allocation because every time you need not to make a different kind of communication appeal. You identified one communication appeal and you are leveraging the benefit of that identification, and it encourages a cross channel synergy. That is what a very crucial element nowadays, and that is what we witnessed in last module when we talked about the omni-channel strategy. So, when we are leveraging this omni-channel strategies for our marketing, for making the product accessible, when we are leveraging the different possible touch points through which we can influence the choice of target segment, then this synergy is an utmost requirement for any organization to go for. Let us try to find out what are the different types of or the tools of integrated marketing communication. There are specifically 6 tools of integrated marketing communication. One is called advertising, which is known to every one of us. We are having lots of exposure, or several times we feel we are bombarded with the advertisements here and there, whether outdoor, whether indoor, everywhere we are finding the advertisement, and sometimes it creates a kind of clutter in our mind. So, advertising is first element. Then we have sales promotion. Sales promotion, that is another big promotion or marketing communication tool which is different from advertising. Why it is different? When we say advertising, it is a kind of sponsored communication. Sales promotion is again a kind of sponsored communication or sponsored strategy and activities to provide a kind of incentive to go for purchase. So, what is the difference between advertising and sales promotion? Advertising, note down very precisely, note down very carefully. Just try to understand the difference between the advertising and sales promotion. So, advertising provides reason to buy, whereas sales promotion provides incentive to buy. So, why are you purchasing the product? That conviction will come from advertisement, but when actually you are making the purchase, that incentive will come from sales promotion. That is the basic difference. Another tool of IMC which we need to understand, that is digital marketing. Nowadays, this digital marketing is becoming one of the phenomena which no one can ignore, because we are having the maximum exposure to different digital media. So, the possibility of customization, the possibility of personalization, and the possibility of pinpointed communication, that is basically possible through digital marketing, and it's happening. Another big element or big tool in IMC that's relate with the personal selling. Personal selling is again one of the effective tool and very widely used in B2B kind of marketing, business to business, but it is having big influence even in B2C kind of marketing, where we are talking personal selling also in relation with direct marketing. So, this is another tool. Then we have to think about another big tool, that is publicity and public relation. Publicity and public relations are clubbed together just to represent that the close linkage between these tools, but the effectiveness is very high. Why the effectiveness is high and how is it different from advertising? Because we need to understand advertising is a paid form of communication, whereas publicity is a unpaid form of communication. Similarly, advertisement is always positive, whereas publicity may be positive, may be negative. So, these two broad differences are there. Now, I mentioned there are 6 basic tools. Here it's mentioned the direct marketing and personal selling as a separate entity, because personal selling is an enabler and there are possibility that you can do direct marketing with the help of this digital marketing possibilities, so that you can avail, you can make the things possible. So, advertising and sales promotion difference we talked about, the advertising and publicity difference we talked about, the similarity between the digital direct marketing and personal selling is quite natural, and similarly this direct marketing is having an enabler factor when we discuss the digital marketing. So, this is one category of categorization or one mechanism of categorizing the tools of IMC. There is another mechanism to categorize the tool. One is called paid form. So, the TV, the digital ad, that will come under the paid form. Another is considered under the owned form. Now, owned means websites, the apps, the social media, all this will be actually owned by the organization and they are one of the tool to communicate to the target audience. Then we are having another category, that is earned. When you are paying to third party or the media to communicate, you are paying to utilize the platform. In case of owned, you are developing the platform and then communicating to target audience. But in case of earned, it means neither you are paying for any platform to communicate, nor you are creating and owning any platform to communicate, but this platform is organically developing to make or break your impression. So, under this third category of platform where we are talking earned platforms, so PR, that is public relation, the user reviews, the social shares, all these are having big influence nowadays when we are witnessing the influence of social media in our day-to-day life. Let's talk about a very simple and generic model of strategic communication, or rather to say the communication in general. Just see, in this model we are having one sender. The sender is sending the message through media encoded into certain form, then decoded when receiver actually receives the same. But as I already mentioned, the flow of information is always bidirectional. Until unless the receiver confirms what sender want to convey, the information flow can't be possible, can't be converted into a complete communication. That is why there is a dotted line showing the response and feedback. and that makes this loop makes the communication, in totality possible. But just see, there are possibilities of distortion in the communication loop, and this distortion is actually the noise, the disturbance, the different elements interfering while encoding the message or decoding the message, and this interference of different unwanted element create distortion in communication. So, it might possible sometime whatever you want to convey in the same manner it is not received by the receiver. Might be there are certain noises even in the mind of receiver having a kind of biasness to perceive a different meaning which you do not want to convey. It is all possible. So, there are three specific things which everyone need to take care: how to craft the message, what are the different adaptability possibilities, because whenever there are certain influence of external element, you have to have adapt to make the communication effective, and how to manage the multi-channel approach, which is a reality which every one of us has faced. We can't ignore, we can't say that I am engaged in one kind of communication, so I am not going to handle any other kind of communication. Take the example of our class. You must be seeing my video, the lecture video. Many of you might be busy with certain kind of communication through your mobile. That is also possible. Is it? Is it true? That is what we have to have handled, that is what we have to have accommodate. So, if there is any possibility of multi-channel communication, we need to understand how to integrate that multi-channel communication. Now, what is the process of developing effective integrated marketing communication, that is IMC? The first thing is we have to identify the target audience to whom you are going to communicate. If you are not knowing that audience, will it be possible for you to design or craft your communication? No, it is not possible. It is a very common thing. Whenever any invitation I used to get to speak at different forums, maybe in workshops, seminars, the conferences, my first question used to be, what is going to be my topic on which you want my expertise? Then I keep on asking, who are going to be the audience? According to the understanding of audience, then only you can craft your message to suit the audience. If you are knowing the audience is going to be a novice audience is going to be an experienced audience, or audience is going to be a kind of audience which is expert in that domain, don't you think your preparation of deliberation will differ as per the audience? So, knowing your audience is the first factor to devise any communication strategy. Second one is determine the communication objective. Why you want to communicate? What is the purpose of communication? If you are not knowing this purpose, what will be the use or utility of communication? Third one is craft a unified message. This is again very crucial. Crafting a unified message, because multi-channel approach, and if you are having different message for different channels to target, then you are creating a seed of confusion in the mind of target audience. So, this unification, this unified mechanism to craft your message is one of the requirement. Then select the communication channel, what is going to be your media, what is going to be your budget, because that is again one crucial factor to identify which media vehicle you are going to opt for. Because media vehicles are having their own pros and cons, and based on their pros and cons, the cost of media used to be decided. We will discuss all those things when we discuss the advertising, one of the tool of IMC. And finally, if you decide each and everything, execute creatively and measure the result. What is the effectiveness? you invested, because in business, if you are investing any resource, you have to have talk about the returns on the investment. So if you invested on communication and still you are not able to find out the returns or the benefits of that communication, then it will raise lots of questions. That is why execution and measuring the impact or influence of that communication is the last step in devising the marketing or integrated marketing communication strategy. So how we will identify the target audience? The first step, just ask few questions to understand the target audience. What might be those questions? To whom it will be said? What will be said? How it will be said? When it will be said? Where it will be said? And who will say it? All interrogative question, if you attach with your message, with your intention, don't you think you can define the audience to whom you want to target? So when we talk about the communication, remember there are 5 A's identified by Kotler in terms of communication objective. Now what are those 5 A? First one is awareness. Just try to create a kind of awareness. Just try to create a kind of beginning of a bond to go for. So that is what awareness is. Second one is appeal. What kind of influence you want to exert through your communication? That is what appeal is. Then ask. Ask means, as I mentioned, communication is always bidirectional. So if you are not asking whether you communicated, it is grabbed in the same manner, will it be possible to say that your communication is effective? That is why ask is a necessity. Then act. Act as per the feedback. Act as per the understanding of the audience. And finally, the advocacy. If your communication is a convincing one, if your communication is leading towards an outcome where the customer, or rather to say the prospect, is converted into a customer, and with repeated communication that customer becomes a loyal customer, a partner of your organization, don't you think now you need not to start the communication? That advocacy will come from the customer who is now a partner of the organization. So how this communication can build a kind of advocacy? Maybe in your communication several organizations keep on giving the testimonials of the users. What actually these testimonials are? These are basically the advocates of those particular products. We are talking about the influencer culture in the social media. What actually the influencers are doing? They are advocates of the product, they are advocates of the brand, and that is what require in communication. Now process, if we try to find out the cost effectiveness of promotional tool, just see there are different communication tool clubbed or represented by different lines, and it is related with the stages of buyer readiness. Now there are 5 stages. One is awareness, second is comprehension. So buyer is getting aware about any product, then developing a certain kind of understanding, that is what comprehension is. In the third stage, buyer is now getting convinced, or conviction is there, where they are ready. Okay, this product communicated and I understand this in detail. Now I am convinced that this product is going to be my choice. This is the third stage. After that, ordering. Your conviction will result into action, and reordering, that is post purchase behavior. If you are satisfied, if you derive value, then you go for reordering. Now these 5 stages of buyer readiness will have different influence of integrated marketing communication tools on the buyer itself. Just see, in the initial stage of awareness, the highest effective or the influence is of advertising and publicity. So, advertisement, as I already mentioned, is a tool to create awareness. Advertisement is tool which is providing reason to buy, why you want to buy. So, it create awareness, then it decreases comprehension, decreases minimum when its influence is minimum, effectiveness is minimum when you actually order. And then it again increases because you have to have, the organization have to have remind that whatever you purchased was good, your experience was good, now return back. So, minimum at this point ordering, and then again start increasing. Now, just see which tool is having the minimum effect at the beginning, that is awareness, and this tool is personal selling. So, through personal selling, if you try to create awareness, until unless your product is B2B product or very technical product, this tool is having minimum effectiveness, and its effectiveness is increasing as we are trying to convince, as we try to get the order, and its effectiveness is again decreasing at the time of reorder, because if you are convinced with personal selling, the prospect converted into customer, then you need not to convince again and again related with the same product and same offer. So, its importance is decreasing, but maximum at the time of order, where you have to convince that okay, I explained each and every bits and pieces of information or query which you raised. Now, it is the right time to convert this into an actual purchase, so that both of us can have exchange of values. Just see the promotional sales promotion impact. It remains nearly constant up to conviction, because it is not creating any kind of conviction. What I mentioned, sales promotion is providing incentive to buy. It is not providing reason to buy. Remember, it is a very big and major difference. So, sales promotion is providing incentive to buy. Now, incentive to buy will have the maximum influence when you actually acting. This is what the ordering stage, and ordering and reordering stage is having the maximum influence of sales promotion. And just see, from a flat territory, it jumps suddenly and reaches to the maximum in ordering and reordering. And this is the beauty of different integrated marketing communication tool at different stages of buyer awareness. Let us take few real world cases. First one is Fevicol, a very famous advertisement campaign, or to say a very creative kind of advertisement campaign by the brand Fevicol, produced by Pidilite industry, and they used to win lot of accolades at different platform for their creative ad. I hope many of us must remember the journey of a bus, where everyone the bus is full inside, bus is full outside also, where people keep on occupying the top roof, the windows, the back, and everything is occupied by the people, and simply bus is moving, and at the end you are seeing a logo on the back of bus, Fevicol, a Tour. That is all. No as such message in terms of verbal message. It is only visual representation with a tag of Fevicol. Now, what actually it is? Fevicol synchronize the television commercials, print, social media, and outdoor hoarding, and the purpose or the actual theme behind all those communication is humor and the permanence. The humor and the nature of product which they reflected in all kind of communication. And the tagline Fevicol ka jo, in both cricket ad, memes they are making, the marketing effort they are doing, and it is a fabulous kind of advertisement campaign. Wakefit mattresses, they utilized the TV social content series, and they made one very beautiful tagline, the sleep internship. We are inducting the different interns in our organization product. That is what sleep internship, that catch the attention of the audience immediately. So they integrated the customer emailers, influencer, and make this unified campaign visible across the media with their sleep internship campaign, and they received a huge response from the market. So in summary, what we learned, IMC creates a strong and unified customer experience. No doubt, that's what we need to have, the unified communication, unified message. It requires the coordination of message, timing, tone and channel. Unification cannot be possible if you are not synchronizing your efforts. Several brands showcase high level of IMC thinking, and that's what we understood with some of the real business world examples of Fevicol and Wakefit mattresses. So at the end, the post-session assignment, which I keep on throwing on you, to think maybe a kind of reflective thinking to associate your learning with your experience. Just try to answer. Have you ever seen a brand where the website say one thing and its Instagram say something else? I am talking just opposite what we discussed. We discussed throughout the session to make our integrated marketing communication unified. Now I am giving you a relatively tough task. Identify for some organization, for some product, whether this unified communication was not opted. Maybe an error, maybe a deliberate attempt. Just try to find out whether the diversity you find in the communication for any product. And if yes, just think why they did, and how it influenced your perception related with the product or service. If you further want to read the book related with IMC, I recommend Welch and Welch book of advertising and promotion, that is IMC perspective, which talks in detail related with integrated marketing communication. So thank you so much for your time and attention. Thank you so much for spending some quality time to learn the marketing, and we are learning the last element of marketing mix, the communication, the promotion. Next session, next lecture, we will start with the specific tool of marketing communication, and it will start with the advertising. Thanks again. Happy learning and happy living.